Welcome, children, to Riley and Taven's super awesome video about history stuff. Taven, say hi to the children.
Hi, children.
First things first, let's talk about our first president, George Washington.
Who's George Washington?
If you weren't a robot overlord, then you would know. But since you are so uninformed about him, I guess I'll explain.
Okay, then.
You see, George Washington was a former general in the Revolutionary War. After the war, he was going to retire, when suddenly a note came to him saying he was elected president unanimously, meaning he didn't run and everyone just voted for him.
The way that he was elected unanimously was because of a group called the Electoral College. The U.S. Electoral College is the institution that officially elects the president and vice president after seeing which state voted most for each candidate.
In English, please.
In English, this means that the citizens' votes are used just as suggestions for the results of the election.
Alright, well anyways, like I was saying, everyone looked up to him and believed he would be a great leader of our country. George wasn't lonely, though. George had a wife by the name of Martha Washington who ran parties and fun stuff to make the president not look so boring.
Well, another person of interest is John Adams. Between the years of 1789 and 1797, he served as George's vice president and was later elected the actual president of the United States. As one of America's founding fathers, Adams was a noted statesman, diplomat, and a leading voice in the American Revolution. He promoted republicanism and a strong central government. His key advisor was his wife, Abigail Adams.
After Washington and Adams were in office, it wasn't easier than life before. The new federal government had to come up with policies and procedures for the future of our country called precedents.
I thought presidents ran the country.
Haha, no, Taven. Precedents, not presidents. Anyways, for example, George Washington has soldiers escort hobos to the nearest 7-Eleven to get them potato chips. The presidents from there on out have soldiers do the same thing.
Oh, it looks like I forgot the Republican motherhood.
Well, great job, Taven. Now you should explain it. Don't look like a fool now.
Yes, sir. Republican motherhood is a 20th century term or an attitude towards women's roles present in the blooming United States before, during, and after the American Revolution, which in nerd language equals a woman's role in society after it was changed by the American Revolution.
So basically it's women's jobs in society?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's get back on track. The first Congress created departments in the executive branch known as the First Cabinet.
That's a weird name.
Don't worry about it. Washington chose members of the cabinet very carefully. Alexander Hamilton was Secretary of the Treasury, Thomas Jefferson was Secretary of State, Henry Knox was Secretary of War, and Samuel Osgood was Portmaster General.
Okay, well, now we move on to the Judiciary Act of 1789. That's a law to establish a structured federal court system authored by Oliver Ellsworth. The Judiciary Act of 1789 created a functioning federal court system and created the position of Attorney General.
Well done, Taven. Last but not least, we have urban versus rural, rural, hold on, let me look it up on Google Translator. Here it is. Rural. Okay, I got it. Rural. Urban versus rural population. 95% of Americans were rural and had farms. The farmers wanted fair tax laws and the right to settle western lands, and they did not want the government to interfere with their daily lives. The measly 5% of Americans lived in urban areas, and they looked to the government to help with their businesses. Most merchants wanted simple trading laws passed, while on the other hand, manufacturers wanted laws to protect them from foreign competitors. Being that there is only one government, farmers and merchants/manufacturers had a little bit of a conflict that would later be resolved.
Well, looks like that's all we have this week.
Tune in next time to learn another thing or two.
Good night, children.
Thanks for watching.